What you know about reality isn't the full picture. The world you see, the life you live, and the limits you believe in are part of a carefully designed illusion that you never questioned. But underneath the surface, beyond mainstream history and conventional science, there exists secret knowledge that was intentionally hidden. This knowledge, once understood, gives you abilities far beyond what most think possible. The Emerald Tablets preserve wisdom from over 36,000 years ago, stored in stone, waiting for those ready to reclaim their forgotten power. These aren't myths. They're the blueprint for mastering existence. You weren't meant to be trapped in cycles of struggle, limitation, and uncertainty. You have access to inner abilities that can reshape your reality. The time has come to learn the truth they kept from you. Everything around you feels solid and real. The ground, objects you touch, even your body. It all seems undeniable. But this is part of the illusion. The Emerald Tablets show a truth most people won't accept. You are not your body, thoughts, name, or mind. You are something greater. Your true essence is consciousness, an eternal awareness temporarily living in physical form, but never limited by it. Since birth, you were taught to believe you're limited to flesh and bone, that your body defines you, and that death means you stop existing. But these teachings expose this as a lie meant to make you feel small. The body is a vessel, a tool borrowed from the universe that lets you interact with reality. Like a cup holds water but isn't the water itself, your consciousness gives form to your body, not the other way around. Science now sees what ancient people understood. Quantum physics suggests that observers affect reality. Experiments show subatomic particles behave differently when observed. If observation can change reality, think about what the mind can do. The Emerald Tablets mentioned this thousands of years ago. Reality isn't something trapping you. It's something you actively create every moment. Think about times you felt deep intuition, knowing something without logic. Or moments where time seemed to slow down and your thoughts changed events around you. These aren't accidents, but glimpses of your true nature, reminding you that your consciousness isn't limited to the physical world. Over generations, society stripped you of this understanding, pushing the idea that you're just a fragile human in a chaotic world. The truth is, you were never meant to have these limitations. Knowledge of your true nature has been buried, twisted, and dismissed as myth. You've been told time moves in a straight line from past to present to future. Something you chase, something slipping away, something you race against. But time itself is an illusion. You learned that time is linear, a relentless march with no way back, each second lost forever. You think you're bound by your age, past decisions, and uncertain future. This is one of the greatest deceptions ever placed on the human mind. The Emerald Tablets show that time doesn't move in a line. It's not something chasing you or controlling you. It's a force that bends, loops, and cycles. Once you understand this, you'll never see reality the same way again. Time works in repeating cycles, like nature itself. The sun rises and sets, seasons change, tides rise and fall. Nothing moves forward in a straight path. Everything repeats eternally through cycles of existence. What if your life, experiences, and soul's journey follow the same pattern? What if time isn't something you move through, but something you exist within? What if you could step in and out of moments as easily as walking from one room to another? Physics now confirms what was revealed thousands of years ago. Scientists studying quantum mechanics suggest past, present, and future may exist simultaneously. Time may not be a flowing river, but a vast ocean where every point is accessible. Particle physics experiments hint that the past can be affected by choices made now. Time is more fluid than we believe. If time is cyclical, what you call déjà vu isn't a mind trick, but a glimpse through the veil. A moment where the illusion falters and you remember something you shouldn't. If time isn't truly linear, then past lives aren't behind you, but happening alongside you, accessible if you knew how. The more you study these teachings, the clearer it becomes that time isn't a prison, but a force that, once understood, can be navigated. This knowledge has been hidden, because if you knew time doesn't trap you, you wouldn't be bound by regret, aging, or fear of the unknown. You'd see beyond modern distractions and step into your full power. Ancient initiates knew this. They walked hidden paths of wisdom while others remained blind. They accessed knowledge across lifetimes, saw patterns in history, and used them to shape their reality. They understood the future isn't something that happens to you, but something you step into and create. Here's the biggest deception. If time doesn't bind you, neither does death. If consciousness moves beyond time, what happens when the body stops working? You've been taught death is the end, an abyss with no return. But these teachings show a truth so life-changing that once you understand it, fear begins to dissolve. The idea of ending is an illusion because death is just a transition. You've been told death is final. When your body fails, your existence ends like a flame blown out. This fear has shaped your entire life, whether you realize it or not. It controls how you live, what risks you avoid, what limits you place on yourself. But this fear is built on a lie. The Emerald Tablets share an ancient, powerful truth that made those who understood it fearless about death. Death isn't the end, but a doorway, not final, but a transition. The awareness listening to these words doesn't stop when the body dies. It moves, changes, and continues. Death was described as a shift in frequency, an eternal force that can't be destroyed, only changed in form. The body is just a temporary container for consciousness, discarded when no longer needed. But consciousness itself, who you really are, moves beyond it into another level of existence. This explains why ancient civilizations didn't see death as an ending, but as a transition to something greater. Egyptians believed the soul traveled through halls where one's true essence was weighed, purified, and reborn. Modern science now confirms what ancients knew through near-death experience studies. People consistently report leaving their bodies, experiencing awareness beyond physical limits, and seeing beyond the material world. If death were truly the end, why would so many report these experiences across all cultures, times, and backgrounds? If consciousness were just brain function, why does awareness continue when the body stops? The answer is simple. You are not your body, and never were. The body is an instrument, a biological interface for experiencing this dimension. When it's no longer needed, you return to greater awareness beyond time and space. This is what was meant by, man is a flame bound to a mountain, yet the flame is not the mountain. Your physical form is bound to earth, but the fire inside you belongs to the cosmos. This knowledge remains buried because if humanity truly understood death wasn't final, the entire control system would collapse. Fear of death keeps people following rules, afraid to take risks, question authority, or truly live. That's why history was rewritten and ancient wisdom suppressed. Those who understand death know that life has no limits. But what happens after death? What's beyond the veil? The tablets describe places beyond human perception, where souls journey before returning to physical form. They mentioned energy fields, consciousness cycles, and a process of change before rebirth. This knowledge, once available to ancient initiates, has been hidden but not lost. Those who seek will find it, and those who understand will no longer be controlled by fear. Once you see death as just a transition, another truth becomes clear. Life itself isn't what it seems. What you experience as reality is just a projection, a vibration you tune into. Just as your body isn't who you are, the physical world isn't all that exists. There's something hidden that holds the key to the true power of your consciousness. What if everything you see as reality isn't solid, but an illusion shaped by energy and vibration? You were taught to see the physical world as absolute, external to you, fixed and unmovable. But the emerald tablets show a stunning truth that will change how you see existence. Reality isn't made of matter, but of frequencies. Everything you see, touch, and experience is just energy vibrating at different levels. The key to your true power is understanding how to change your own frequency. The tablets taught that all things in existence, your body, thoughts, and emotions, are made of vibrational patterns. The only difference between one form and another is the frequency of vibration. This explains why sound can break glass, why emotions affect health, and why some places or people feel energetically uplifting while others drain you. You constantly interact with these unseen forces, whether you know it or not. Quantum physics now shows that particles at the subatomic level don't exist in a fixed state until observed. Everything at its core is energy, moving in and out of different states, influenced by awareness itself. This matches what was written thousands of years ago. All things form from the Great One's breath. Vibration is the key. This ancient knowledge recognized that what we see as reality isn't solid, but an ongoing movement of energy shaped by consciousness itself. You've felt this in daily life. Have you walked into a room and immediately sensed tension without words? Have you been near someone radiating peace, instantly making you feel better? This isn't imagination, but energy frequencies interacting. The same applies to your thoughts and emotions. When fearful, worried, or angry, your frequency lowers, attracting matching experiences. When clear, confident, and peaceful, you match higher vibrations, and your reality changes accordingly. This is why ancient mystics practiced meditation, sound healing, and chanting. These weren't mere rituals, but techniques to change frequency and tune consciousness to higher awareness. The power of sacred sound was emphasized. Specific words and tones could activate energy centers in the body and mind. This knowledge wasn't lost, but buried under distractions and false information, hidden in plain sight. You don't need permission to access this power. It's always been inside you. The ability to raise your vibration, change your frequency, and create your reality is your birthright. Once you learn to use this energy, you realize the universe responds to you. This is why mastering your own vibration was emphasized. By controlling your internal energy, you gain the ability to influence the external world. This isn't superstition, but a principle of reality governing all things. Those who understand it can shape their lives in ways most people can't imagine. But vibration doesn't exist alone. It works within universal balance, ensuring everything returns to equilibrium. Those who don't understand this live in chaos, always reacting to the world. Those who learn to work with this cosmic law gain something extraordinary. They move beyond reaction into creation. They master not just their own energy, but reality itself. This shows the next great secret of the Emerald Tablets, the principle of balance, the force governing the entire universe. Everything seeks balance. Nature cycles, planetary movements, civilizations rising and falling. Nothing stays in chaos forever. In your life, how often have you felt stuck in imbalance, pulled between extremes, unable to find peace. The tablets show that balance isn't just an idea, but a universal law as real as gravity, as powerful as time, controlling everything from cosmic movements to energy flow in your body. Once you understand this, you stop fighting reality and start moving with it. The principle of equilibrium ensures all things eventually return to harmony. Emotional turmoil, destructive actions, and chaotic thoughts collapse under their own weight. A mind full of fear and rage will eventually exhaust itself into stillness. A society driven by greed will eventually crumble back to order. Those who don't understand this principle fight it, trying to force reality to their will. But those who master it move perfectly with universal flow, using this knowledge to shape their lives. Ancient cultures understood balance better than modern civilization. The yin-yang, Egyptian Maat, and Hermetic polarity all express the same truth. Opposites aren't enemies, but two halves of the same whole. Light and dark, expansion and contraction, order and chaos exist in harmony, each giving meaning to the other. Yet society taught you to resist this. Reject discomfort. Fear struggle. You were told peace is external, something to chase. But the tablets showed something different. True mastery comes not from avoiding imbalance, but learning to navigate it. You've experienced this before without knowing it. Think of times when stress or frustration reached a breaking point, and suddenly your mind went quiet. Clarity emerged from chaos. That was balance restoring itself. Or moments of unexpected joy after hardship. That was equilibrium working. These cycles play out in every aspect of existence, from thoughts to historical movements. When you learn to see them, they no longer control you. The key lies in your own energy. Just as the universe seeks balance, so does your consciousness. Those who stabilize their internal world gain control over external reality. This is why monks, sages, and mystics throughout history sought stillness. A balanced mind cannot be controlled. When you stop reacting, stop swinging between emotional extremes, learn to stay centered regardless of circumstances, you become untouchable. Balance extends beyond inner mastery to everything you create and every action you take. If you operate from desperation, forcing outcomes, chasing success, manipulating situations, you'll face constant resistance. When you move with unshakable alignment, trusting life's rhythm, things fall into place effortlessly. You've likely felt this. Moments when everything flowed, right opportunities appeared, life unfolded easily. That wasn't luck, but balance in motion. Those who understand universal law don't force but align. They move with currents, not against them. They know balance isn't just something that happens, but something that can be developed, used, and directed. Those who master this law gain immense power. They walk between worlds, untethered by extremes, moving through life with grace others can only admire. But balance isn't the final secret. It's a foundation preparing you for deeper mystery. Once you stabilize your energy and see universal rhythm, you can discover the forces shaping existence, the unseen rulers of reality who have watched, guided, and influenced humanity since our beginning. They're called the Lords of Nine, and what they show changes everything. Beyond time's illusions, beyond life and death, beyond human perception, forces exist so ancient and powerful, they shape reality's fabric. You've been told existence is random, the universe chaotic, life meaningless. The Emerald Tablets show something very different. Reality isn't uncontrolled, but watched over and maintained by beings of immense power. The Lords of Nine aren't myths or gods as religions describe, but architects of existence, cosmic overseers controlling energy flow, time cycles, and consciousness evolution. They weren't described as distant figures, but forces directly interacting with those seeking hidden paths, ancient beyond understanding, existing before humanity, before stars formed. Each of the 9 controls a different aspect of the universe, holding power over forces most never understand. They don't directly interfere with human affairs, yet their presence affects every moment of reality. They ensure balance restores, cycles unfold properly, and cosmic order maintains. They exist above human laws, but follow cosmic laws. Throughout history, echoes of the 9 appear in mythology and religion. The 9 muses of Greece, 9 gods of Egypt, 9 unknown men of Indian legend. These are fragments of deeper truth. Even today, secret societies preserve knowledge of these entities. Knowing those who align with the Lords of 9 access power beyond human limits. If these beings exist and oversee existence, the question isn't whether they influence reality, but how you can connect with their wisdom. The 9 were described as gatekeepers to higher consciousness dimensions. Those seeking awakening must prove themselves worthy. This explains why ancient mystery schools used trials and only gave deeper teachings to the most disciplined minds, not to withhold knowledge, but because only the ready can use it responsibly. This explains why modern society removed all true spiritual power. You're taught to see yourself as small, to believe consciousness is just biology, that there's no deeper universal structure. If you knew truth, that reality isn't a trap but something you can interact with, shape, and influence, you couldn't be controlled. Those who understand the 9 don't live by ordinary rules or see obstacles the same way. They move through life knowing they aren't separate from universal guiding forces, but part of them. The Lords of 9 can be contacted, their presence felt by those who tune to higher frequencies. Methods were described for vibrational alignment, ways to raise consciousness to states where their wisdom becomes accessible. This explains why certain symbols, sounds, and geometric patterns have been used for thousands of years. They're keys, tools for shifting awareness beyond physical reality. The flower of life, sacred geometry in ancient temples, resonant frequencies in forgotten chants, all are remnants of greater knowledge, clues for path seekers. But this path isn't for the lazy or passive. It's for those willing to break free from limitation, move beyond fear, understanding that power isn't given but claimed. Once you align with cosmic law and step beyond world-imposed illusions, the next truth becomes clear. Reality isn't fixed but fluid, shaped by sound, frequency, and word power. The same force that created the cosmos can be used by those who understand its nature. This is the next great secret. Knowledge of how sound creates existence itself. Ancient civilizations emphasized spoken words, chants, and sacred sounds, not just poetry or ritual, but understanding something modern society has forgotten. The emerald tablets share a powerful secret. Sound isn't just vibration, but the force shaping reality itself. Every word spoken, thought voiced, sound moving through existence, carries energy that creates, changes, and influences the world. The instruction, sing the song of freedom, create the high vibration that will make you one with the whole, wasn't metaphor, but direct instruction. The universe constructs through frequency, energy moving at different rates forming what you see as physical existence. What seems solid matter is just vibrating energy fields constantly changing and influenced by unseen forces. Sound is one of the most powerful forces. This explains why certain frequencies affect you deeper than conscious thought, why some music uplifts while other sounds create unease, why ancient chants and mantras work across cultures. Not superstition, but because they tune body and mind to specific vibrational states. The tablets show that sound used with intent can align you with higher frequencies, breaking free from mental and physical limitations. This key hides in plain sight. Science now finds what was revealed long ago. Cymatic studies show sound waves influence matter in precise ways. When frequencies pass through water or sand, they create geometric patterns matching sacred geometry in ancient temples. This isn't coincidence, but evidence that sound architects reality. Vibration brings structure to formlessness. If sound shapes matter, consider what your words and voiced thoughts do. Every sound isn't just noise, but a command to the universe, an energy ripple in existence. This explains warnings about careless words, why affirmations and incantations manifest reality, why silence is valued in esoteric traditions. Words hold power, and those understanding this power shape their destiny. This knowledge was hidden, diluted to superstition, and forgotten. Because if humanity truly understood sound's creative force, society wouldn't function as it does. If you knew your words influence not just your mind, but reality's structure, would you speak differently? Think differently? Would you allow fear, doubt, and limitation voices to control your experience? Or would you consciously direct your vibration, aligning your voice with creation frequencies? The teachings show those mastering sound accessibilities beyond what most consider possible: manifestation, healing, even changing consciousness. It all starts with understanding how frequency interacts with reality. This explains why ancient wisdom symbols weren't just written, but spoken. God names, sacred incantations, vibrational keys in old languages held power beyond meaning. This explains why modern language lost energetic force. You're bombarded with meaningless words and distractions. Powerful phrases become cliches and empty slogans because when words lose meaning, they lose reality-shaping ability. But those who remember, who understand sound is more than communication, can reclaim lost power. Sound alone isn't enough, though. It's one piece of a greater puzzle, one aspect of deeper knowledge governing all things. The tablets don't just share secrets, but provide a blueprint for activating hidden forces within you. If you've read this far, you're ready for the next step. Understanding the process to access this knowledge, the inner mastery path walked by seekers for thousands of years. The ultimate truth. Ancient knowledge was never lost, but always here, waiting for those ready to receive it. Most people never find this knowledge. Not because it's hidden, but because they're conditioned not to look. The world distracts you, keeps your mind on trivial concerns, drowns ancient truth whispers that were always there. But the tablets show knowledge isn't given, but claimed. The inner mastery path isn't walked by accident or given to those who simply want it. It must be earned. Only those willing to move beyond physical world illusions will ever fully understand it. The emerald tablets weren't written for everyone but for seekers, those sensing something more, just beyond ordinary perception. They knew knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. Power without understanding leads only to destruction. This explains why teachings were encoded, layered in symbolism, hidden in myths, not to keep them from you, but to ensure only the truly ready would find them. Mastery isn't about information, but change. The first step is seeing the world isn't separate from you. What you seek isn't in temples, books, or other people, but within you, waiting to be activated. Great sages and initiates had nothing you don't. They simply knew how to access dormant human power. The question isn't whether you have this power, but if you'll awaken it. The tablets mention halls of Amenti, a hidden place where souls change before returning to physical existence, a place of deep knowledge where consciousness is weighed, purified, and prepared for higher states. But what if Amenti isn't just a place, but a state of awareness? What if the Amenti journey isn't after death, but possible during life? The ancient initiates understood that the greatest changes happen not externally, but in the mind itself. They followed inner mastery using vibration, balance, and sacred sound principles to access deeper consciousness dimensions. This path isn't for everyone. This explains why few truly awaken, why most dismiss these teachings as fantasy. Walking this path means letting go of society's illusions. Understanding your thoughts create reality, emotions shape frequency, words command existence's structure, and taking responsibility for that power. This explains why modern civilization suppressed these truths. Once you realize you're not reality's victim but its creator, you become impossible to control. Once you see life doesn't happen to you but through you, you no longer accept world-imposed limitations. This knowledge passed through secret schools, guarded by those understanding its power. This explains why history's greatest minds, Da Vinci, Pythagoras, Tesla, studied principles found in the Emerald Tablets. They knew reality isn't fixed but fluid, shaped by those aware enough to see beyond illusion. Now this knowledge is yours. You stand at the threshold of something beyond ordinary human understanding. What will you do with it? Most will hear these words and return unchanged to their lives, letting world distractions pull them back to forgetfulness. But some will feel the call, knowing they found this for a reason. For those ready, the next step is clear. True change requires action. The final secret isn't just knowledge, but using that knowledge to reshape reality. The journey just begins. Most never reach this point. They hear the words, feel curiosity, then let conditioned reality pull them back. World illusions are strong enough to keep civilizations asleep, make people believe they're powerless, trapped in taught limitations. But you're still reading, and that means something. Part of you already knows the truth. Something inside always felt this world isn't what it seems, that you are more than what you've been told. The Emerald Tablets aren't just historical relics or esoteric teachings, but a living blueprint for awakening. They show hidden laws governing reality, forces shaping existence, and methods for consciousness to exceed its limitations. The question isn't whether this knowledge is real, but what you'll do with it. Those dismissing these teachings will continue in endless cycles, reacting to the external world, never questioning why things happen. They'll chase goals that were never truly theirs, follow paths designed to distract them, and fear the unknown rather than welcome it. They'll live by human laws, unaware of greater laws governing existence. But for those accepting truth, a new path opens. A mastery path where life isn't something happening to you, but something you purposefully shape. The hidden forces influencing you since birth become visible and understood. Fear changes to knowing, limitation to possibility. History's greatest initiates didn't just gather knowledge, they applied it. They controlled their energy, moved beyond time's illusion, spoke with power, and aligned with universal balance. They learned the physical world is just a projection, a reflection of frequencies they tuned into. They understood true change doesn't come from outside but from within. That power remains available to you, always there, waiting beneath noise, buried under distraction, fear, and doubt layers. The Emerald Tablets weren't meant to gather dust, but to be used, studied, and lived. But only by those willing to break free from patterns keeping them asleep. This knowledge is just the beginning. There's far more than one video can share. Some truths are too powerful to discuss openly. This offer is limited. Those who wait will miss their chance. You found this for a reason. Whether you continue or turn back is your choice. The emerald tablets preserved this wisdom for thousands of years, waiting for the right moment, waiting for those ready to hear. If this message connected with you, comment, "I understood it," because the first step to awakening is seeing through the illusion.